So in the previous video, I talked about the section previewing the topic where I talked about the process of reading and pre-reading activities. And I talked about the process of communication. And I talked about terms like the verbal element, the vocal element, and the non-verbal element of communication. And I gave you 3 assignments. Now, in this video, I will talk about the section agreeing and disagreeing. So all these, these sections are pre-writing activities, and they are aimed to warm up your prior knowledge about the topic and prepare you for the reading of the essay. So let's read what is given there. To what extent do you agree with the following statements? There are sentences, you read them carefully and ask yourself, do you agree or disagree to what the statements are saying? Answer in the context of the culture with which you are most familiar. You are a Nepali student, I guess. Then you may be from different culture like Taman culture, Brahmin culture, Madhesi culture, Marwadi culture, Thakali culture, Rai culture, Limbu culture, Newar culture, right? So answer these questions considering your own culture. Fill in each blank with SA. That stands for strongly agree. A, agree. U, undecided. D, disagree. Or yes, D, strongly disagree. You will have to copy down these statements in the assignment sheet and then you'll have to mark. Let's read. People usually greet each other with some form of touching in your culture. Do do you agree now? You see, very plain, simple statement. People usually greet each other with some form of touching. So if you see this very much in your culture, right, strongly agree. If you see not very much, right, agree. If you are not sure, you don't know, right, undecided. And if you think this does not happen in your culture, people don't touch when they greet, right, disagree. Then it is common for students to avoid eye contact when being scolded by a teacher. Now, do you strongly agree? Is it in Nepali culture that when a student is scolded by the teacher, the student avoids looking directly in teacher's eyes? Do you strongly agree? Agree, undecided, disagree. Then men frequently link arms or hold hands in public. Do you think in Nepali culture, when two boys walk down the road, do they hold each other's hand? When two men walk down the road, do they hold each other's hands? Now write yes, A or U or D. You may also give a reason in single sentence. People tend to gesture a lot with their hands while conversing. So, for example, in Saudi Arabian culture, people make a lot of hand gestures. So, do you think Nepali people also move hands a lot, right, up and down, right and left? Do they use a lot of gestures, hand gestures, facial gestures, body gesture, other body parts? Do they make lots of body gestures when they have conversation? People often smile at each other when passing on the sidewalk. Is that true in Nepali culture? You walk and you see a stranger or you see people coming across. Do you smile at them or you don't? You avoid eye contact with them. Silence is a strong cultural value. Do you agree that in Nepali culture people prefer remaining silent often? Or do they teach you to remain silent? Or it is otherwise? People often show physical affection in public. Do people kiss in public? Do people hug in public? Do people touch each other's body in public? Do they show physical love, physical affection in public? When people converse, they usually stand very close to each other. Now decide, do Nepali people, when they talk to somebody, do they stand very close to each other or do they maintain a larger distance? Right? So this, you note down these 8 statements and write whether you strongly agree or you're undecided or you disagree. You may also think of reason why you think that way. Now let me cover this part also because small part. Taking now we enter the while reading stage. I told you earlier, reading has 3 stages. The pre-reading stage, the while reading stage and the post reading stage. Up to now, up to here, up to the exercise, up to the section agreeing and disagreeing, we were focusing on the pre-reading activities. Now, taking notes while you read. This is while reading activities, what you do when you read. As you read the article, underline or highlight the passages describing the non-verbal behavior of various cultures. This is called active reading. This is called interactive reading. This is called annotated reading. What do I mean? As you read, hold a pen and underline certain things, hold up highlighter and highlight certain things. What to highlight? We'll talk about that. What to highlight? Those paragraphs in the essay which describes non-verbal behavior of various cultures. You should not underline or highlight those paragraphs which talk about verbal behavior, verbal communication. You will highlight only those passages which talk about non-verbal behavior of various cultures. Then, in the margin of the book, next to each marked passage, indicate whether the behavior is commonly seen in your culture. Do you read about a behavior in the essay? Then think yourself: do you see similar behavior in Nepali culture? If you see, write yes, I see same behavior. If you don't see, write no, I don't see same behavior in our culture. Now we begin the essay actually. Now I will cover this next video. So in this video, I covered two sections, agreeing and disagreeing and taking notes while you read. Now I have a small writing assignment. Write the question, answer it. The question is, what do you understand by active reading or interactive reading or annotated reading? Explain them in a brief paragraph. Write the answer of this question and submit the answer to your teacher when you come to class in the next class. Thank you. In the next video, I will start reading the essay.